Oh, why did you have to run your game on me? I should have known right from the start you go and break my heart.
Welcome back to Cosmeholics Anonymous. I am your favorite girl, BougieVyntage, and today's video is a story time. This is the story time on my first heartbreak. I'm actually going to skip past all of the things that you guys already know, and if you don't know them, then you can just go watch those old story times. So if you want like details on my relationship with this guy, then you can watch the my best friend tried to fight me for my boyfriend story time. You can watch my cheating story time, because I did talk about him briefly. This is the guy that hit me, and I think those are the only two. Oh, and my virginity story time. So those are the three story times that you can watch to go get extra details. I will link them down in the description box below for your nosy asses. Okay, so you guys can go watch those if you want details. I'm just gonna go over from when the breakup happened to like 2 years. 2 years, because that's how long it took my little ass to get over this little nigga. I'm just gonna go over that with you guys in this, because I don't want to drag it out. Like, if I already told you guys the losing my virginity story, like, I give a lot of details when I do story times. If you guys didn't notice, because my story times run for like 2 hours long. I'm just gonna skip over all that stuff. You guys want to know those details, then go watch those other story times if you haven't already. But if you have watched them, hi, how are you? Let's get into this tea. Starting from when we first started having problems. So me and my ex-boyfriend, we were arguing a lot. I was 16, 17 at the time, and we started to argue a lot, and I was becoming insecure with him because before he was cool and let me check his phone and stuff, and then all of a sudden, and you know, when you check a guy's phone, you're not checking to find something, you're checking to not find something, because I bet not find nothing in your damn phone. And so the one day in particular that I actually stole his phone and went through it, and he was actually under the impression that I didn't have his password. The one day that I stole his phone and went through it, I had actually seen messages in his phone to this other girl that went to another school, and I was just like, oh fuck no. And because I wasn't having it, I ended up giving him an ultimatum. We argued about it for like 3 days straight, and text messages, he was talking to her like how he used to talk to me in the beginning of the relationship when he was trying to rope me in, which is why I was so uncomfortable and insecure about it, because it wasn't just innocent text messages like, hey, how are you, what's up, what's good. It was, hey, beautiful, and like they were hanging out and stuff. And so I was crushed by that. Like, you guys have no idea. I was literally crushed, because when you give your virginity to somebody, or when you're that young, when you're 16, somebody tells you they love you, you can't believe them, right? Okay, so I was 16, he was a year older than me, and I was just madly in love with it. Well, I don't know if I was in love. Like, now when I think about it, well, now when I look at it, I was like, that was like puppy love, I guess. But I love hard, so when I'm in a relationship with somebody, or like when it's like my family, my best friend, my friends, period, like I love hard and I'm ride or die. So I just felt like I had put so much into a relationship, even though I was only 16, I had put so much in, and I was being disrespected in the worst way, and I didn't know how to deal with it, because I've had plenty of boyfriends before. Obviously nothing had been as serious as that, but I'd never been cheated on or in a situation where I had to deal with my guy talking to another girl and treating her how he treats me. And so I was kind of fucked up about it, because it's not like we had stopped saying I love you to each other. It was just like, you could tell that our relationship was starting to fizzle out, and I was trying to hold on to that bitch for dear life, bitch. I was literally trying to hold on to it for dear life. Like, I was holding on by a damn thread, okay? It was pathetic. So I catch these texts in his phone. We're arguing about it for 3 days, and once on the third day, I go to his house and I'm like, well, we need to talk about this. If this is the end, then we need to make it clear, and you know, we need to go our separate ways if that's the case. Like, these are your two options. Either you're going to work with me and fix this, or we're breaking up. Like, what do you want to do? And of course, he chose to break up. So at first I didn't care, because once we broke up, it was like a friends with benefits thing, and this is why it took so long to get over him. So the friends with benefits thing was not a good idea. I wasn't even looking at it as a friends with benefits thing. I was looking at it like, not a break, because I don't believe in breaks, and he knew that too. So I was looking at it like, I don't know, it hadn't hit me yet that we were broken up, and it didn't feel like anything changed, because I'm pretty sure we had sex the same day that we broke up, and we had sex the day after, and we had sex all the way until I decided we weren't gonna have sex anymore. So I had given him the ultimatum, we broke up, but it still felt like we were together because we were still doing couple shit, and we didn't stop talking or anything. We were acting like we were still together, so I was cool with it. I was like, shoot, he's still my man. I was in the denial 101. However, he was playing with me because he was making it so that I felt that there was still hope and there was still a chance that we were gonna get back together, because he was kind of just like how he needs his space for the moment. That's the impression that I was under, and so I'm thinking we're gonna get back together eventually, until a couple months later and I find out he's talking to these two different girls at my school. Go figure. Apparently he started dating one of them on low. So so in the yearbook they had shaded me. Well, not they, she had shaded me in the yearbook, and so I responded to whatever she wrote about me, her and her little friend. So they wrote something about me in the yearbook, so I like shaded them back in the yearbook, and I basically let her know, well, if you guys are really dating, I was just fucking your man the other day, so I mean, don't come for me, okay? Granted, I didn't know they were together, so you know, whatever. I'm not like, I'm not here for the cheating thing, but like, don't come for me. I didn't do anything to the girls or to the girl for her to have been shading me. Like, it was so dumb. You're shading me just because I'm the ex? Like, that makes no sense. We had no type of beef ever in life.com. I had even told him out of the two bitches which one to pick, and that's who he went with. So I obviously got pulled here, honey. It was a messy ass breakup. And because I was still fucking him for probably a whole year, okay, an entire year after the fact, because even though it said what it said in the yearbook, he was denying that he was seeing her. So I was like, okay, if they're not together, then I'm free to fuck him if I want to. So we were fucking each other for a very long time before I realized that, oh shit, they are dating. Like, they are dating. The way I found out about them dating was that I used to have his password to Facebook and his email address, and he at one point had changed his password. He's a little slow. So he changed his password, but I changed it back and deleted the email for the password change, so he didn't know. So he thought there was a glitch, and he had actually asked me about his password, and I was like, oh no, that's never happened to me before. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. But I was actually the one that was changing his password back to the other one so I could go in and see what he was doing in his group chat convo with his friends. My heart broke when I went into the group chat and I was reading their entire convo, and he had said something about he can't stop sniffing his fingers because he had fingered the girl that day. He didn't fuck her yet, but he had fingered her. You guys are gonna be like, that is disgusting. He's like, how he can't stop smelling his fingers. And when I read that, my heart sunk to my stomach, you guys. Like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even deal. I was like shaking. Like, it was then that my heart really broke into like pieces that you could not count, honey. My heart shattered, okay? And it didn't shatter because I realized it was officially over. It shattered because he was leading me on and I was still having sex with him, not knowing that he was having sex with somebody else. And so, like, this can't be life. Like, I was like in uber shock. Like, I can't even explain it to you guys right now. If you had your heart broken before, you know, but like, everybody's heartbreak story is kind of interesting because it's just like, how did you find out, or how did your heart break? This is how my heart broke, bitch. So yeah, I'm reading the combo and I can't stop reading at this point because I'm just like, what does he mean his finger? He can't stop smelling his finger. So I keep reading and I realized, well, he stuck his fingers in her coochie, in her box. So I'm like, oh my god, he's not sticking them back. And this was when I was like, fuck no, I'm not having no more sex with him. Like, he's not about to be fingering this bitch and then coming and fingering me. I don't want no diseases, bitch. I need a clean pussy. So like, it's not going down like that. And so I was at that point that I was just like, wow, I was stunned. I remember after I finally closed the conversation and closed my computer, I started bawling my eyes out, like bawling my eyes out, you guys. I was literally, my bed was soaking wet with tears because I couldn't fathom him being with somebody else. I'm like, okay, Bo, you need to gather yourself. Like, it's not that serious. You guys have been broken up for a little bit of time now. Like, you can get over him, blah, blah, blah. But I could not stop talking to him. Despite the fact that I just read this or whatever, I just played it cool and acted like I didn't see that because I wasn't supposed to be in there in the first place. So it was then that I decided, okay, no more sex. I still want to talk to him, but I didn't want to engage him in sexual activities because I couldn't be like, if he's dating somebody else, I'm not going to overstep my boundaries even so. And so like, if I was her, honestly, I would have my ex be talking to the girl that he just broke up with, so she didn't have a man under control, because you ain't talking to your ex-girlfriend. I'm so sorry. Like, even if I don't have a problem with the ex-girlfriend, you're still not gonna have conversation with her. Like, you're still not gonna be up late night talking to her. You should be talking to me. So we were up and still late night talking and stuff, and so I kind of still felt like there was still hope there, even though he was with the other girl. It took me like a year to like actually cleanse myself of him and just realize that I can do way better, first of all. Secondly, that it's not the end of the world, because I was literally depressed as fuck, you guys. And this is when you girls started taking up rapping. Like, I had to give myself a hobby to get my mind off of this boy, and that's why, and that is how I ended up being a rapper in the first place. I started smoking a lot of weed at this point, and I was just trying anything possible to cope. Like, I was so dramatic. Like, honestly, I was so dramatic. I used to keep a journal, and I would write all the time. Like, almost every day I would write. And if I ran out of journal, then I would just write on line paper. I don't have anything. I would love to share with you guys what I was writing, because I know there was some shit in there. Because if I'm angry, I write. If I'm happy, I'm right. Like, so I would love to share with you guys. If I can find something anywhere, I will definitely come and read for you guys what I used to be writing. But I was so depressed. Like, I felt like I had nothing to live for. I wanted to die. I really did. And it didn't help that he was engaging me in conversation. Like, he would hit me up too. It wouldn't just be me hitting him up out of the blue. He would hit me up, and so because of that, I wasn't able to ignore him. I was so weak for him that I just kept talking to him and letting him talk to me and feed me sweet nothings, even though he was talking to somebody else. And so I was just like, this gotta stop, bitch. This really gotta stop. So he's with this girl now, and even though he's still talking to me, he still felt like I belonged to him, even though he was belonging to somebody else at this point. And I used to be really close with one of his friends, and well, actually, I don't really know that they're friends like that. Like, he wasn't like one of the main friends that he has. I would never ever do that. But those guys are like my brothers. It was like another guy. It was just a random guy that he was cool with. Your girl got into it with that boy, and of course, the fucking guy did not keep his lips sealed. Like, I hate a nigga that kisses and tells. Like, I was so pissed. I was so mad. So, anyway, I ended up doing something with this guy. At this point, me and my ex, even though we weren't, like, the best of friends anymore, we were still cool, and we would still talk all the time. One thing led to another with his homeboy. I smashed the homie. And he told him, literally not even, bruh, it was not even 12 hours had gone by, and it didn't even go all the way. Like, it wasn't even, ugh. The man tasted like bleach. I said, I can't do this, honey. You gonna have to take me home, boo. Like, no, sir. So whatever. So whatever happened with that guy, and it wasn't even 12 hours. I think it was maybe 6 hours had gone by. And all of a sudden, I lost a BBM contact. And on BBM, it tells you how many contacts you have in a number. So one of my contacts had disappeared. And so I'm looking at my list to see who it is. And it's my ex. And I was, as soon as that happened, I'm like, this nigga told him, like, why? What purpose did that serve? And so, and me and the guy were super close. Like, we were like the best of friends. And yeah, we were just hanging out one night and, you know, whole tendencies, okay, bitch? So, but like literally it was nothing to tell about because it started happening and I was like, I can't do this. And then that was it. So I don't know why he ran and told him. Like, I was just so irritated. So anyway, he tells him, he deletes me off of BBM. I message the guy, I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, I cussed him out. And he's like, what? Trying to act stupid. And I'm like, I know what you did, blah, blah, blah. He deleted me off BBM, blah, blah, blah. I was so pissed. And then, he's there apologizing to me, saying, sorry, sorry, sorry. Like, can we still be friends? And blah, blah. Nigga, no! Like, what do you mean? Like, we barely even did anything, and you ran off to go tell my ex-boyfriend? Like, why would I ever even talk to you ever again? Like, that's whack. Not even because you told my ex-boyfriend, just because you open your mouth, period. You're fucking whack. So I was just like, hell the fuck no, we can't be friends. Like, stay over there. Stay over there with your bald head ass. Like, I ain't got time, honey. So once he, deleted me off BBM, I reached out to him and I'm like, what the fuck is good? Like, what's your problem? You have a girlfriend, I don't understand what the problem is. And he's there trying to beef me and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Like, I can't even deal. I thought we was gonna be cool, but we're not gonna be cool. And there's no point in hanging on to exes. Like, it would have been a waste of time anyway. I don't even know why I was trying to do that, but I was young and dumb. So that's what I was trying to do. I think that might have been the last time we spoke. And that had to happen. I'm actually kind of thankful that the guy told him, because if he never deleted me off BBM and then I paged him and then he kind of like tried to beef me, if that didn't happen, I feel as though it would have taken me even longer to get over him. Once I realized, like, okay, he's with somebody else now, like, I have to move on too. It was then that I decided I was going to be celibate for a little bit after this whole incident happened. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to get back to being myself, because you can definitely lose yourself in someone else. And my advice is to never do that. If you and your boyfriend or your significant other break up, don't keep trying to pursue it, because that's what I was doing. Like, I look like a desperate fool. Like, when I think about it now, I'm just like, why? Like, did I not know there were so many other fish in the sea? And so when you guys email me for Botox, I totally get where you're coming from with a lot of your situations, but that's why I give you the advice that I give you, because I don't want you guys to go through what I went through. Like, it doesn't, nowhere in the history of time is it ever okay to take 2 years to get over somebody, unless they's dead, unless they died in a tragic accident or something and you like are grieving their death. But that's how I was acting with this nigga. Like, I was acting like he was like, he wasn't even cute. So I don't know why I was like, no ma'am, I can't deal. So I don't know why I was just so infatuated and so in love with him and the idea of him and the idea of a relationship. And it didn't help that we were still having so much sex, because I tell you guys all the time, sex is not just physical, it is definitely a soul connection. So every time I'm fucking this guy, I'm falling deeper and deeper and deeper into whatever it is I was falling into, and it made it even harder to dig out of that. And that's why it took me 2 years, two years, from 17 to motherfucking 19, almost 20 years old, to fully get over that guy. And it should never have taken that long. It should never take anybody that long. Honestly, if the nigga ain't dead, there's no reason it should take that long. My advice to you guys is, if you are going through some shit with your man and you guys break up and it's time to move on, just move on. Don't hold on to it. Don't try to make it work, because at the end of the day, especially if it's like a high school relationship, I knew he was a dog ass nigga. Like, why am I even trying to keep talking to him when the reason we broke up is because I just saw text messages in his phone? Like, when you catch somebody doing you dirty the first time, bitch, you better believe that ass, okay? And leave that ass. Like, believe that ass and leave that ass. You don't want to be sticking around to get your heart even more broken, because the whole reason for me giving him that ultimatum was so that it didn't get deeper than it was, and then I got tied up in it and even more heartbroken, because I think I would have been even more heartbroken if I found out right then and there in like those text messages that I was reading that he cheated on me, fucked the girl, and was still with me, rather than me breaking up and finding out after the fact. Everything played out perfectly. Now when I look at it, I'm like, it was perfect. Like, she could deal with the cheating ass nigga, because I ain't with it, okay? You can get cheated on all you want, but I ain't with it. But yeah, my advice to you is don't drag it out, because I was dragging that shit out. Like, when I say I was holding on for dear life, bitch, a bitch was holding on for dear life. Like, I didn't want to let him go at all. And it was too because I had developed a relationship with his mom, with his brothers. Like, I was cool with the family, and his mom is a very cold lady. Like, she's cold, okay? She's stone cold. But she really grew to like me, and so it was hard for me to let go of that. And so I was just like, but she would tell me, she would just be like to me, like, don't do this, because he's gonna be a nigga at the end of the day, so there's no point in you like keeping this up with him when you know he ain't shit. Like, she didn't say her own child ain't shit, but it was along those lines. That was the best advice she could have ever gave me, and of course I didn't listen to it at the time, but I eventually did, because I think I just had to see it for myself. But I was definitely super depressed, you guys. Like, I took up rapping. What? Rapping and smoking ganja, bitch. I was super depressed. All I would listen to was Wiz Khalifa and like Currency, and I would just smoke all day, every day. That was just the life I was living after him. That was how I was coping with my little heartbreak situation, and I didn't know any other way to deal with it. That's why I tell you guys to pick up a coloring book, find a hobby, find something to do with your time, because it makes the process a lot easier and smoother, because you're not going to be thinking about him or her when you're doing something that's occupying your time and making you feel happy. Granted, smoking weed, you know, that's not the answer, okay? So don't be doing what I did. But like, taking up rap was something that I decided to do, and it was subconscious too. It wasn't, I didn't realize until now that that's what I was trying to do when I started rapping. But I just needed a hobby. I just needed something to do other than writing in my journal about it. So breakups can be really tough. They can suck, and they can drain you if you let them. But the trick is to not let it get to you and not let it get too far. I let it get too far. So that's why I ended up, I was crying for days, you guys. Like 40 days and 40 nights, bitch. Tears in my eyes. And everything takes time. When you feel as though you're in love and you feel as though that person loves you back, you may do things you wouldn't normally do, and you may consider going to the end of the world for this person. But if somebody's not willing to do that for you, step away immediately. Step away immediately. Gather yourself and try to find who you are again, and never let it happen again. Never get lost in somebody ever again. That could never happen to me ever again. Because I know my limit, and I know how much I should take if I take any shit from any significant other, okay? I know what my limit is, and I'm not 18 years old, so I'm not gonna be like, if God forbid me and Shooter were to end, I'm not gonna be fucking Shooter after we break up. Like, no sir, no ma'am, no thank you. It ain't going down like that. I don't think so. So yeah, it's just important to put yourself first in situations like this, and I definitely was not. I was putting him first from the time that he asked me to be his girlfriend. I started putting him before myself, and I think that's where I went wrong. And so you just have to be careful for stuff like that. But like I said, I love hearts, so it is what it is. But yeah, that is the story of my first heartbreak, and that is how I dealt with it. I hope you guys like this. I hope it was a lesson for you if it wasn't anything else. And yeah, I love you all, and I will definitely see you in the next one.